ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापतिकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. Everyone can see the screen. Okay. Now before we start, just wanted to say Kanika Mataji has recently rejoined us. So she enrolled with us quite a while ago, but she couldn't continue. But today she wanted to continue. So most welcome. So Hari Bol to Kanika Mataji. She was studying Bhakti Shastri earlier, but there was some interruptions. Anyway, so now we will do the revision. I think mantra 9 will be done by Divya Mataji and mantra 10 by Ujjwal Rasa Mataji. She is not here. Okay, probably she's here now. So give to Divya Mataji to do mantra
Yes,
9.
I'll try and I'll be very quick.
No problem.
Okay. So I'll start with translation. Those who engage, shall I start?
Yes,
Yeah.
Mataji, you can. I'm just opening the page here.
Yes. Those who engage in the culture of nascent activities shall enter into the darkest region of ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge. So the mantras 9 to 14 section has been named as the absolute and the relative. And 9 to 11 will cover in terms of knowledge, and then 12 to 14 is in terms of worship. So in mantra 9, we do comparing the cultivation of knowledge. Mantra 10 is guidelines of knowledge, and mantra 11 is right and wrong vidya. So in mantra 9, we'll be doing 3 aspects. Those who neglect spiritual knowledge enter into darkness. Then second is vidya, comparing vidya and avidya. And third is 3 kinds of so-called knowledge. So link with mantra 8. Mantra 6 to 8 describes the vision of Mahabhagavad, but in mantra 9 to 14, we talk about different gradations of non-devotees. Mantra 9 is an extension of mantra 3, which is the killer of soul, Atmahana. Enter into the planets known as the worlds of ignorance. And then, okay, if you see the shloka, it's Ye Vidyam Upasate, those who worship ignorance. Where do they end up? Andham Tamha Pravishanti. Andham is darkness, Tamha is ignorance, and Pravishanti is Pravesh Karna, so to enter. Then we go to Srila Prabhupada's purport, paragraph 1, where so here we talk about Vidya and Avidya, and Mantra 9 discusses 2 kinds of people who lack knowledge of the Lord and those who are ignorant. So Prabhupada says avidya or ignorance is undoubtedly dangerous, but vidya or knowledge is even more dangerous when mistaken or misguided. Avidya, those who engage in avidya, which is modern education, to the exclusion of spiritual growth, concerned about sense gratification, go into the darkest regions of ignorance, which is andham and tamas. and they downgrade from humans. So any knowledge that is taking us away from God is Vidya. So, and problem with studying material Vidya, it doesn't lead you back to Godhead. Then Vidya is knowledge, study of the Vedas, but for a lower attainment, which is for name and fame. And that will cover in Veda Vatarata. Then in paragraph 2, we see it's less education is better than wrong education. So Prabhupada tells us how much you are connected to Lord, that is actually Vidya. And Prabhupada says anyone who doesn't have Krishna consciousness is poor. So he compares the rich and poor. Then, and he says so-called advancement of education is more dangerous than a civilization in which the masses of people are less educated. And you also spoke about the examples how our grandmothers and great-grandmothers were less educated, but they were very pakka in their sadhana and they were very God-conscious. Then in paragraph 3, we talked about the karmis who are engaged in the activities of sense gratification. Yes, and then in paragraph 4, it's yeah. So since karmis work due to wrong education, worse are those who provide the wrong education. And then in mantra 9, it refers to 2 classes of the Shkritnas, which is from 715. They are Mudas and Maya Pratagyanas. So Mudas, worship or followers of avidya, which is ignorance, material pursuits, which take you away from Krishna. Such Mudas whose knowledge is stolen do not surrender to the Lord, rather they go to modern education places which almost exclusively focus on material advancement, which is wealth, power, possession, etc. Then real Vidya is Ishavasya principle. Lord resides in everything and fully controls it. So Prabhupada gave 2 examples here. Those who lead, teach, promote such educational advancement at the expense of spiritual realization are compared to 2 examples. The first is the cobra example, a valuable jewel being placed on the hood of cobra. So the jewel here, they're giving the analogy with and comparing with wealth, name, fame, etc. So all the jewels, if there is a jewel, it looks attractive. But then all this modern education is attractive, but Maya could bite you anytime. Second example was placing decorations on a dead body. So modern life provides a patchwork of activities meant to cover the miseries of the material world. So we do it for the pleasure of lamenting relatives, but what do we get? Any education which does not lead to such realization must be considered as avidya. Then paragraph 5. So worse than one are those engaged in the culture of so-called vidya or so-called knowledge. Veda Vatarata. So Veda is knowledge, Vad is school of thought or philosophy, and Rata is engaged. So we took a reference from Bhagavad Gita 2:42. The supposed followers of Vedas attracted by flowery words of Vedas recommend fruitative activities, karma kanda, for elevation to heavenly planets. We also discussed Bhagavad Gita 15:15. Then, so those who are Veda Vatarata pose themselves as very learned in the Vedic literature, but unfortunately they are completely diverted from the purpose of Vedas. And on the contrary, they are fascinated by such fruitative results as the attainment of heaven. In the paragraph 6, it's all religion teach the same principle. There is no contradiction as seen by Veda Vadarata. So such people misguide others by misinterpreting the Vedic literature, which is even more dangerous. Then paragraph 8, one more in paragraph 7. So they are condemned as avidyarathas, those who cultivate or are engaged in ignorance by misusing their power to tell things incorrectly. So they actually fall further than those who don't have any knowledge. So we talked about an example where a police officer is negligent in drink driving, but he'll get more punishment because he knows about it and still doing the wrong thing. So Veda Vadarata, main fault is they give the own meaning to Vedas and neglect authentic meaning by Acharyas. Then in paragraph 8, we talked about Maya Bharata Jnana, the result of misinterpretation. So what happens here? They are the self-made gods who think they are very intelligent, but Maya has stolen their real knowledge. So example is a big scientist. Maya has stolen the real knowledge, but the scientist thinks that he's still knowledgeable. They don't understand how it's possible for such a man-made god to be entrapped in Maya. And yes, that's it, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any questions for Mataji? Everyone fully understood.
All good, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mata. No, you have picked up nice points from Prabhupada purport. That's good. Okay, Ujjwala Mataji, over to you for the next mantra, which is mantra 10.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
This mantra 10, I'll start with the translation. The translation goes, the wise have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge and that a different result is obtained from the culture of nations. So in this mantra, the main topics discussed are Vidya, Avidya, and Dhira. And this mantra tells us that Vidya gives us one result and Avidya gives us another result. And to connect it with previous verse 9, verse 9 had talked about two kinds of people, those who were in ignorance and those who had so-called knowledge, but not the real knowledge. They had material knowledge. So both the categories are in the mode of ignorance. And this mantra 10 gives us the understanding about the result of Vidya and Avidya. Now, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada ji tells us what is Vidya. So there are 18 items given which are Vidya. Apart from that, the rest of everything is Avidya. So I won't go through the 18 items because we have already done it twice. Prabhu, is that okay? Or should I go through?
No, Mataji, just pick up any main points. We don't need to read all them.
Okay, I'll just list very briefly. The first point is one should practice humility. Then the second is pridelessness. The third is non-violence. So one should not be a source of anxiety for others by body, mind, and words. The fourth is tolerance. The fifth is simplicity. One should have very simplistic dealings with everybody. Sixth is one should seek a bona fide spiritual master, serve him and submit to the spiritual master and inquire. The seventh is to follow the regulative principles. The eighth is one should be fixed in the instructions of revealed scriptures. The ninth is one should refrain from activities which are unfavorable to bhakti. The 10th is one should renounce sense objects and only take what is required for the maintenance of the body. The 11th is not to identify oneself with the gross body or the possessions he or she may possess. And the 12th is one should recognize that the repeated birth, old age, disease, and death is actually the real problems of life, not the little problems that we encounter in our day-to-day life, but these are the real problems. And one should find permanent solution to get out of these problems. And one should regain his spiritual identity. And the 13th is one should not be attached to more necessities of life. One should only accept quota which is given to that person. So one should be detached, basically. Then one should not be overly attached to the wife, children, and home. One should regulate those attachments. And the next is one should be equipoised in all circumstances, good or bad. The next is one should become an unalloyed devotee of the Lord, Sri Krishna, and serve him with rapt attention. I love this word, rapt attention. So that just says everything to me. The 17th is we should live in a place which is favorable for bhakti. And the 18th is one should put one's intelligence into researching the spiritual knowledge because that is permanent. And one should not focus on the material knowledge because that is impermanent and that goes away when the body dies. So these were the 18 items which are given, and actually these items were also given to us in Bhagavad Gita 13.8 to 12. Now these 18 items, they combine to form a gradual process by which real knowledge can be developed, that is vidya can be developed. So one should develop and apply all these qualities, all these items in one's life, because they lead to good qualities in life and they lead to good character. And also it gives relief from suffering to a jiva. Vidya also fosters or promotes spiritual advancement, ultimately leading to Krishna consciousness. Now the next 3 paragraphs talks about avidya. Now we should try to understand what is avidya. So avidya is material knowledge or any knowledge that takes us away from Krishna. That is avidya. So basically what is taught in the school and the universities nowadays is avidya. And Srila Prabhupada calls it a center of nations. Because the students are not given the real knowledge or taught any principles of brahmacharya or no regulative principles are taught. And as a result of that, the result of this avidya is children don't respect their elders. There is lack of training and no real education being imparted. There are so many problems in the learning institutions nowadays. So things like there is illicit sex is rampant, diseases, abortions, there are suicides. So all this is the problems of the modern day education, and that's the result of avidya. The other few things about avidya are they lead to Prabhupada ji talks about religious principles. They are taught for the sake of name and fame only. And people who follow them, they just try to show off that they are devoted, but actually they are not devoted. Also due to avidya, nationalism develops. And nationalism causes problems, fights between the countries, between the communities, even between religious sects, there are problems. The countries are seen to be competing with each other and trying to dominate, and they fight for a piece of land, not realizing who the real proprietor is. And then there are scientists who are developing lethal weapons to wipe out communities and countries. And we have seen in the past the example of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They were wiped out a few decades back. Also, we have seen the example of Hitler, who killed millions of people trying to dominate and establish his supremacy over the different countries and communities. And all this is happening due to avidya. We see nowadays that most people are concerned trying to get more education, higher degrees, big jobs, big bucks. But the result of all this is they work like asses and they are not happy, they are dissatisfied, and they are stuck in the cycle of birth and death. So this is unfortunately the sorry state of affairs of this modern world. And people, they are very proud of their achievements and advancements of knowledge. They try to dominate the matter, not realizing who actually the proprietor is, who is the real controller, and who is the designer of this perfect universe. They just simply go on trying to dominate the matter, trying to extract sense enjoyment. So all these things we can see, they are the results of avidya. Now we go to the last 4 paragraphs, which talks about how to solve this problem of avidya, which is everywhere, widespread. So how do we attain vidya? That's the question. Now for this, we should approach a dhira person. A dhira person is a sober person who is not deluded by the material world, who doesn't hanker or lament. In Bhagavad Gita 18.54, Krishna had earlier talked about Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma, na shochati na kankshati. So it's very important that one must realize that acquiring this body is actually a bad bargain. But one must make the best use of it by taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. So approach a spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, serve him, hear submissively and inquire. Also, Krishna has talked about this in earlier in Bhagavad Gita 4.34. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So one can become a dhira just as Arjuna became dhira after hearing from Krishna submissively. And he states in the end, in the 18th chapter we have seen, he says that my illusion is gone and I'm ready to act as per your instructions. So this is the real process of learning Vidya from a dhira person. And in the last paragraph, Srila Prabhupada talks about how modern day politicians or leaders, they act like a dhira, but actually they are a dhira because they are not taking proper training. They are not properly trained, and thus they cannot lead the mass of people on the path of self-realization. All they do is they are busy filling up their pockets. They are busy clinging onto the power. They are not at all concerned about the welfare of others, and they are concerned only about their own welfare. So looking at this, Srila Prabhupada is warning us, cautioning us that we must make a correct choice. We should not blindly follow these so-called leaders of the countries or communities. We should be very careful about following a dhira person. We should approach a dhira and try to perfect our life and walk on the path of self-realization. Thank you. That's all I have to share. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Very nice, Mataji. Very nicely explained mantra 10. Both of you did very good preparation. Wrote the notes and explained the purport. Thank you. Anyone has any question for Ujjwal or Mataji? So we all becoming dhira by listening the nice purport of Prabhupada. Anyone remembers a verse in Bhagavad Gita which uses the word dhira? Very simple one.
Dhirastatra na muhyati.
Number? Anyone else? Mataji already told the verse.
It's 2.13. The hinosmiyatadi.
Thank you. So 213, the hinosmiyatadi.
Yes.
Anyone remembers the example from Srimad Bhagavatam where the leader was not dhira, so the follower did not follow him? He was supposed, like leaders, Prabhupada is saying the leader is supposed to be a dhira. In modern times, there are no dhira leaders, practically speaking. They're all adhiras. But in Vedic culture, all the leaders were dhira. One time, and you all know that story, one
Bali
leader,
Maharaj?
thank you, Mataji. Who was the adhira leader?
Shukracharya.
Shukracharya. So our leaders are supposed to be dhira. They are supposed to be taking us towards Krishna. But at a time when they become adhira, when they tell us not to surrender to Krishna, not to go towards Krishna, we are supposed to leave those leaders. So as per that definition, in modern world, we should not follow any leaders. But practically we can't do that. But at least we can aspire to follow our celebrities. Our celebrities are, role models are the heroes of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Hanumanji, Arjun, Bhima. They're all our role models, Dhira. So at least we can live those values in our lives. Okay, Ujjwala Mataji, want to add something?
Actually, I've got a little question, just clarification on my own verse.
Sure.
So there is a phrase, I will refer to the page number 73. And Prabhupada has said that a dhira realizes that the material body and mind he has acquired by chance through material associations. So I was listening to Chaitanya Prabhu's lecture on this, and he said, so I would like to request you to put some more light on this.
Can you, Mataji, just locate that paragraph where you're talking? Is it second last or third last?
Third last.
Third last, okay. I'm just looking.
Fourth last, maybe. Third, one, two,
Fourth
three,
last.
fourth last.
Okay, yeah, got it. Yes, Mataji.
So Chaitanya Prabhu had explained that by chance is used to convey that there is no intrinsic connection between body and soul.
Yeah.
and they are different because of circumstances.
Yeah.
The body and soul come together due to the past karma, desires, and conditioning.
Yes.
So could you put some light on that?
You answered it correctly, Mataji. The word by chance may be confusing for all of us. I'll just reread the line Prabhupada is writing here. Adhira realizes that the material body and mind he has acquired by chance. So the word by chance is important here, through material association, but are foreign elements. So what basically Prabhupada is saying here, we have no, as Mataji also said, as per Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, no intrinsic connection with our this subtle body which comprises of mind, intelligence, and false ego. They are not intrinsic to the soul. Like when we, just an hypothetical example, when we were leaving the spiritual world, we didn't have this. So like, you're leaving from Sydney to Delhi, for example, and in your luggage, there was no such thing called a packet ABC, right? But we acquired the ABC in Singapore when you were shopping there. Huh? Or somehow packet came in, you watch in Hindi movies, they are carrying a bag and someone puts a golden biscuit or something else, a stolen thing in your bag. And when police is checking, you say, mera to nahi hai. It doesn't belong to me. So sometimes it happens. So we acquire some things which actually intrinsically doesn't belong to us, but we acquire them. Why do we acquire them? That's the whole sort of discussion why we left the spiritual world. Due to our, as Prabhupada said, curiosity. Curiosity, Prabhupada said, kills the cat. So we were curious. Sometimes people say we were envious of Krishna. Prabhupada explains that's not the case in the beginning. So in the spiritual world, no one is envious of Krishna, but we were curious. Suppose your parents tell you, don't go behind this wall. Then children will always be, Mama, what is behind this wall? What is behind this wall? They will always be questioning. Whatever you tell them no, they will definitely question that. So we are like those naughty, curious kids, not necessarily naughty, but curious kids who wanted to check out the material world. And Krishna said, Beta, don't go there. No, I have to check it out. I have to check it out. In a good sense. But when we came in the material world, one freebie was given to us. What was the freebie? Just put an example. Prabhupada gave this nice example. When you go to the jail, if you ever, you are given a very specific dress, isn't it? I have not seen jails live, but we've seen in movies, right? They will be wearing a white dress or blue dress, whatever, specific dress. So when you come to this jail, because you want to come, you have to wear a dress, right? Like all the prisoners are supposed to wear the dress code, orange or white or black, whatever it is. So similarly, when Krishna says, you want to go to the material world, check it out, you have to accept a dress. No problem, Krishna, I'll accept it. Because we don't know how dangerous that would be. No problem, Krishna, I'll accept it. So Krishna says, okay, no problem. So Krishna says, okay, you get a first coat, which is your subtle body, and then you get the second coat. And as Jagadanand Pandit explains, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, when we start the journey in this material world, and that has different interpretations, we start from the position of Brahma. So all of us sitting here, working in our 18-hour job, one day, as Acharya said, we were Brahma. We were Brahma. So we were the king of this whole universe. And then from Brahma, we probably became Indra. Then we became Agni, Vayu, Chandra, something like that. Then we became the president of the whole practically world, and then prime minister of a country. And now we are sitting here in a 2-bedroom apartment, which still have mortgage on it. Feeling cold, have this jacket on, just a little cold. So all these things. So this is the result of acquiring those things which we have accumulated, procured on the way, on our journey. So that's why Prabhupada calling this by chance. We didn't mean it actually, but by chance we got it. So initially our intention was not to get all these things, get into this suffering mode, but we got it. But then Prabhupada says very nicely, therefore he simply makes the best use of a bad bargain. Now you got it. You can't wish it away. Chaitanya Prabhu gave him one example. I'm remembering Pakistan. No matter what you say, what you do, he's just there. He's just there. You can't wish him away. It will be there on your head, creating some sort of nonsense things, and you have to deal with it. You wish, I wish Pakistan wasn't our neighbor. I wish someone else, Japan or something. But you can't do it, right? You can't do it. So similarly, we got this dress, we got this mind, we got this ego, we got this subtle body. We can't wish it away. All we can do, purify. Huh? Like Indian diplomats are trying to have a good relationship with their neighbors, all of the neighbors. Huh? For example, similarly, we can't wish our mind away. Mind is there. Through the mind, you have to serve Krishna. Through the mind which is serving Maya, you have to serve Krishna. And that switch is all about devotional service, isn't it? That's the only switch we are trying to do. All of us sitting here. Some devotees are very sleepy because they had a long day, and some are tired, some are still thinking 1 hour, 18 minutes to go, all these things. Why we are here? Just to switch that mind from, say, A to B. And that's what we are trying, making the best use of the bad bargain. Is that okay, Mataji? A lot can be said on this.
Actually, Prabhu, what I am not very clear on, because why does it say by chance? Because the jivas chose to come here, whether it is out of curiosity or
Yeah.
envy. But
Yeah.
and also everything happens by Krishna's will, and it's his grand plan for everything. So
Yes.
where does the chance come into all this? That's what I'm not
Chance is
clear.
like we did not mean to get this. That's where the chance is coming. We did not mean it. We just came as a curious person. And then when you arrived in the garden, you were given this. I'll tell you one story from Mahabharata. Bhishma Pitama is telling this to Yudhishthir Maharaj. There was a one boy in a village, and there was a little girl, brother and sister. They were very happy with their family. Some poor family living on the outskirts of a village, basically, which is next to a jungle. This story by Bhishma Pitama. Mother and father always told the kids, don't go towards the jungle. But they said, don't go towards the jungle. So kids were very, very curious. One day the boy said to the sister, let's go and check it out. Our mother and father are not here. Let's go and check it out what's in the jungle. They and sister said, no problem, brother. Bhaiya, chalo. And both brother and sister, little kids, 8, 9-year-old kids, they went to the jungle. And when they went to the jungle was actually very beautiful. And they saw, wow, such a beautiful jungle. And our Papa always said not to come here. And then they saw a big hut there. So they went to the hut. Hut was very attractive, very colorful. They came close to the hut. Hut was made up of cake, actually. Now, where is our Mataji, Mother Divya? She's somewhere. Can't see. Oh, she's here. Mother Divya makes different cakes with different, I don't know. I can't even imagine. Sometimes she makes monkeys. Sometimes she makes cricket background, football background. Huh? So a hut, I'm sure Mataji would have made this sort of cake. But Mahabharata actually has already explained a cake which is made up of, is similar as a hut. Anyway, this boy and girl, because it was very, very colorful, they went close and they smelled very nice. And they said, can we have a bite? And sister said, why not? Take a bite. And boy said a bite and said, sister, you also taste. It's very nice cake, very nice cake. So they both started having this cake. And when they were having the cake, the cream was in their mouth and they were really enjoying, and they were like thinking about their parents. Why our parents told us not to come here? And they ate so much that made a hole in the wall because they ate so much. And when they see through the wall, inside that hole, they saw a bitch. In Hindi, they call it churel. They saw a bitch. And what this bitch was doing? The bitch was frying something. She had a big pan filled with oil, and the oil was boiling. And the bitch looked through these kids and said, nice cake? They said, yes, nice cake. And now you're going to come inside this boiling oil, and I'm going to fry you. As soon as the kids heard that, they remembered their parents' advice, and they all of a sudden turned back and ran with as much speed as they could back to their hut. And they promised never again. So Bhishma Pitama explains later, what is this jungle? You can all imagine. This is the material world. Who are the parents? Krishna is the parent. Who are the kids? We are the kids. Me and you, all of us are the kids. And who was this bitch? Anyone can understand? Who was this bitch? I'm using this word because of Mahabharata, so I don't mean to disrespect anyone.
Maya.
Maya.
Durga Devi. Bishop Pitama says clearly, Durga Devi is this bitch. Sorry, Durga Devi has been given a job, right? And who is she frying in this tail, in this oil? Jivas. right? And what is this tel? Tritap. Adhyatmik klesh, Adibhautik klesh, and Adidavi klesh. In these three kleshas, we're all getting fried every day, or rather, I should say, every moment, isn't it? Even now, when you are sitting, you will have some sort of vyadhis. Maybe your bodily vyadhi, maybe some mental vyadhi. You're all thinking, you're all in anxiety. Maybe sometime while Krishna Katha, if the speaker is good, not today, but if the speaker is good, you may forget. If you're listening nice kirtan or nice katha. But Durga Devi is frying all of us in that deep boiling oil. And what is this cake? The so-called attractive elements of this material world. Oh, this car is so nice. This male or female is so nice. This money is so nice. This respectable position is so nice. I wish I was the president. I was the leader. I was this, I was that. And then I will enjoy. We always have some lacking in our life. Gosh, just 1 million or hota. 1 million, one extra car, one extra dress. Look at this dress. It's on sale. I wish I could buy that dress. And once I buy the dress, I'll be very happy. Once I buy this car, I'll be very happy. I wish I had a child. I wish I had 3 children. I wish I had a bigger house. I wish this, I wish that. We are eating this cake. And what's the result? Yehi sansparsha bhoga dukha yonaya evate. As soon as you enjoy something, there's a dukkha behind it. Any activity, physical or mental, any activity. If you are enjoying, just wait. Dukkha is just following it. Just following it. Unless it's a spiritual sukha. So this is called by chance. We didn't mean to get it. We got it. And now we are suffering. Now we are thinking, how many of you really think of going back to Godhead? Please raise your hand. I do. But how many of us really working for it? Not me. So we are thinking about why we are thinking, to be honest. Sukha does not give you that realization as much as dukkha. If everyone is respecting you, honoring you, be honest. We are all aspiring devotees. Do you like it? I do. I'm being honest, right? If Prabhu, you are so great. Prabhu, you are so nice. Now, intellectually, you may think, no, this is not good. But you like it, is it? Everyone likes it. Now we are intellectually telling ourselves, no, this is not good. This is not good. This is increasing my ego, false ego. We all like it. So how much we are qualified? We are reading or we are preaching. We are doing so many so-called devotional services, but we are not qualified. We are not there. But we are thinking about it. So this is called by chance. We got it. Now we got to deal with it. Why did we get it? You enjoyed it. His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj said, there's a new restaurant in the town. There's no menu there. You get served what you deserve. There's no menu. You can't choose, give me this chola puri, give me this cake or this rasmalai. No, you get what you deserve. This is called by chance. Is it okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay, let's move to our next verse. Can I request everyone to please switch on your cameras? It's the requirement of this course. Unless you have to go out for a second or so, that's fine. But it's nice just to be together for 1.5 hours or so and just study Prabhupada purports. Okay, now we move to the next mantra, 11. Who would like to read? Okay, Charu Mataji, you moved the cameras. I thought you were getting ready.
Oh, I don't have a voice.
No
So I
problem,
won't
Mata. No problem. It's all okay. Anyone else? No problem. Hare Krishna, Mata. Yes.
Vedyam cha yes,
Vidyam cha yes.
tadvedobhyam saha,
Tadvedobhyam saha.
avidyam mrityum tritva,
Avidyaya mrityum tritva.
vidyam mrityum ashnute.
Vidya amritam ashnute.
Only one who can learn the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality.
Okay, so just giving a context here, which was explained by Divya Mataji earlier. So the mantra 9 to 14. So we are reading the first section, first subsection, you can say, 9 to 11 in terms of knowledge. So all 3 mantras, 9, 10, and 11 is using 2 words, Vidya and Avidya. So Divya Mataji explained meaning of Vidya and Avidya. Anyone else can define besides Divya Mataji? She would know. In verse 9, which we just revised. You can look in your book. That's okay. I'm not expecting you to know everything in your head. What's the meaning of Vidya and Avidya? So, Avidya means ignorance, as Mataji was explaining earlier, and Vidya means Vedvadrata, means having the wrong Vidya. Like if I'm ignorant of the road rules, that's one thing and that's bad. But if someone tells me, I will tell you the road rule and that was wrong, and I'm driving on the wrong side, or I think Mataji gave the example of a drunkard driving on the road. That's really wrong. So I pose myself to be a guru and I give the wrong knowledge. That's not good. So this is what the verse 9 said. What does the verse 10 say in terms of Vidya and Avidya, with Ujjwala Mataji explained? Anyone else? मुझे लगा सबको सब कुछ समझ में आ गया. Okay, you can read in your book and tell me what's mantra 10 about Vidya and Avidya. So, Mataji explained, you get one result by Vidya and another result by Avidya. One result means if you cultivate those qualities, which Mataji read, the 18 of them, which comes from 13th chapter, 13.8 to 12, you get one result. But if you don't cultivate them, you get another result. Basically, there's a different destination. Now, in the third verse in this series, which is verse 11, Krishna is saying, the speaker of Isopanishad is saying, who can learn the process of nescience, which is avidya, and transcendental knowledge, vidya, side by side. Now you're saying, wow. So yes, mantra 9 and 10 sort of explained we should not learn avidya, but mantra 11 is saying actually you should learn. But you should learn in conjunction, side by side with Vidya. Now, definitely we are talking Vidya means transcendental knowledge, not Vedvadrata, which was explained in Mantra 9. So you get the gist of it. You have to understand both. Now, if you understand both, what will be the result of that? So Krishna is saying, you can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death. That's step number 1, like your disease will go, and enjoy the full blessings of immortality. Suppose someone is in the prison house, so he needs two things to feel happy, considering prison is not a happy place. Some people do actually, some people do. They think prison is better. Some people think committing suicide is better than living because their life is hell. Some people think prison house is better than their own house. So anyway, I'm taking a normal scenario. So a prisoner needs to feel two things to be happy. The first thing he needs to feel, he needs to be out of the prison house. Do you agree? He has to come out of the prison to feel happy. Now he's free. But imagine he's on the road or he's in the middle of the desert. Is he completed in his happiness? No, he has to go his own home to meet his family, to meet his parents, wife, children, and then experience the joy and comfort and shelter of home, right? So Prabhupada is writing two things here. First is getting out of repeated birth and death. That's just one. What does Mayavadi says, Brahmavadi says? Just get out of the repeated birth and death cycle, and that's it. You're happy. But do you think it's a complete happiness? No, you're just out of the prison. That's it. Sripalad Prabhu gave a very nice example. If I'm torturing your body, sorry, if I'm giving pain to your body or discomfort to your body sometime, right? Now I stop giving that pain to you. Is it the complete happiness? Someone was beating you with a stick. Now he doesn't beat you with a stick. Is that happiness? Anyone call that happiness? Yeah, you can say, okay, I was getting beaten. Now I'm not getting beaten. But that's not sukha. That's not pleasure, right? Then I have to give you something to eat, something to relax, something to drink, and then you will be happy. So half thing here is not full happiness. What you have to do, enjoy the full blessings of immortality, which is by serving the Krishna. So now this verse is very nice verse. I'll just go back to Prabhupada purport, just in my way here. It's the same purport, no different at all. So mantra 9, okay, so we're talking mantra 11. Let me just scroll through. Okay, mantra 11. I got this nice picture. So this tells, this person is watering spiritual knowledge and material knowledge side by side. What is this material knowledge? Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And spiritual knowledge is hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping the Lord. So now, in that sense, we are all living this life, isn't it? Or we're trying to live this life. We are sort of trying to deal our material life as well as a spiritual life. Even when you're in Bhakti Shastri class, you're still trying to deal with your other aspects sometimes, which you have to, right? So very nice diagram. So this is what teaching. And if you cultivate both side by side, material knowledge is also needed. Why it's needed? I'll give you an example from Srimad Bhagavatam. Narad Muni, when he was teaching the sons of Daksha, so Daksha produced 10,000 sons and he sent them for tapasya. Narad Muni appeared there at Narayan Sarovar and he preached all the 10,000 sons of Daksha. They all became devotees and they never went back home. Daksha was very disturbed. So next time he produced 1,000 sons and he sent them. And this time again, Narad Muni met them and he said, real brothers are the one who follow the path set by their elder brothers. And he preached them, and all of them, they also became brahmacharis. They never yad gatvanani vartante tadham paramamama. So Narad Muni is such a preacher, 10,000 initiations at a time. Anyone does that? No one does it. Maybe His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, he's on that level. But 10,000 at a time, then 1,000 at a time. Now, next time, Daksha was very, very disturbed. And look at the audacity of Narad Muni, audacity in quotes. He went to Daksha now and he said, this is the source of producing all these sons, right? Let me try to convert him as well. And as soon as Narad Muni arrived in the court of Daksha, what happened? Anyone remembers? All the anger of Daksha came. This is the so-called sadhu who has taken my 11,000 sons and made them brahmacharis. We have so many cases and you can look on internet as well. When one son become brahmachari, these parents are making these TV shows in India. ISKCON has taken my sons and there's so many programs like that. Just one son. Imagine 11,000 sons are gone and never to return back. So father was hurt. But who has done this? Narad Muni. And when Narad Muni appears in his court to try to give him some nice special teachings, he curses Narad Muni. What was the curse? Why did he give curse? Just before the curse, anyone remembers that dialogue? It's very, very important for all of us. What does
You will not,
Daksha's point of view? Yes. Yes, Akhandasa Prabhu or Rasanan Prabhu.
You will not be able to stay in one place for more than a couple of days or something.
Yeah, that was the curse. What was the context of the curse? Couple of moments, Prabhuji, just a couple of moments, which is nice. And Narad Muni converted that curse into a boon. What was the context of the curse? Before cursing Narad Muni, he said one very, very important thing for all the sadhakas. Anyone remembers that section of Bhagavatam? He says, Daksha's point of view. Now just put yourself in Daksha's shoes and think what he's saying. So he's saying, Narad Muni says, our Vedas teach dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So everyone is supposed to follow the path of moksha. So I've sent them to the path of moksha. So what's your problem? That's what Narad Muni's proposition is. Daksha's proposition is, unless you follow this linear path, that's what Daksha is saying. That's what the materialistic people also think. Unless you follow the linear path, dharma. So I sent them for tapasya. So dharma is there. That's fine. No problem with that. But what does come after dharma in the linear path? Dharma, artha, kama. Artha and kama. Why artha and kama is also important? Krishna has made these rules, right? Why artha and kama is important? Anyone? Before stepping towards the moksha? Now, that's not the only path. I'm saying in the linear situation, this works like that. You follow dharma, you produce artha, then you do sense gratification, religious sense gratification, and then you lead to the path of moksha. This is the linear path. It's not the necessary, the only path. So what Narad Muni has done from 1 to 4 straight, like Prabhupada done for so many people. Jayapataka Maharaj, for example, right? From brahmachari straight to sannyas. 21-year-old, sannyasi. 17-year-old, sannyasi. 29-year Indra Maharaj, sannyasi. Fatafat from grahastha sannyas. So why I'm giving these examples? Daksha said, unless you have gone through these 4 paths, you'll not realize, your knowledge will not be sustained. So knowledge you have given. If you remember Chaitanya Charitamrita, the same thing happened. When Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as a sannyasi, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has fainted in the Jagannath temple, and the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya took Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his own house. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came back to external consciousness, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, oh, you are a young sannyasi, you have not read Vedanta. I will teach you Vedanta. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no problem. My dear uncle, no problem. Because in relationship, he was the uncle. He said, no problem. For 7 days, Sarvam Bhattacharya was teaching Vedanta. What was his perspective? Because you have taken sannyas in an early age, you may fall down. So I will save you, right? You haven't had experience of the material world. Daksha is saying the same thing. You haven't had the experience. My boys haven't had the experience. Knowledge will not be sustained. But that's not true. This is how materialistic people think. And Daksha said, if you have the experience of the material world, then you will know how dangerous it is and the knowledge will be sustained. So I'm just taking that point from Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita back to Isopanishad. If you have the experience, again, that's not the only path, but some paths are like that. In Bhagavatam second canto, there are two paths described, Pravritti Marg and Nivritti Marg. Generally, in Kali Yuga, people are following Pravritti Marg in devotional service, right? Most of them are grihasthas, they have a job, they have a family, and while looking after their family and material needs, they worship Krishna. This is called Pravritti Marg. And Nivritti Marg is they just bypass all the grihasthas and vanprastha, they just go straight to sannyas ashram. So there are two paths, but most of the people are following number one, Pravritti Marg at this stage, but some are following Nivritti as well. The eventual thing is to go to Nivritti Marg. So Isopanishad is saying, if you cultivate both side by side, what happens? You get the experience of the bitterness of the material world. In Hindi, they say in English as well, the thing which you have not experienced, you're always hankering for that. But once you experience, you'll say, nothing there. I came to Sydney a while ago. So Blue Mountains, Blue Mountains, Blue Mountains. Everyone was talking about Blue Mountains. So Blue Mountains jayenge. Blue Mountains, I'll see Blue Mountains. I went to Blue Mountains and I was like, is that it? Where is the Blue Mountains? I didn't see anything blue there. It was all black. Some 3 peaks standing. The sun was very hot. And I was literally very sort of frustrated. I came all the way, spent my money, spent my time just to see these 3 peaks. So many times we hanker for something, but once you experience it, you don't want to go back. Blue Mountains, okay. You only go when you have to take someone from outside who is still hankering. And then once they arrive, they say the same thing. Prabhu, bas itna hi hai? Is that all? Yes, Prabhuji, itna hi hai. But this advertising industry is so good in selling the things. So you understand the point here? And then they say, when you see it, you experience it, and you say, kuch bhi nahi hai. And then you are done with it. That's just one way. It's not the only way. And many times, if you are doing this without any regulation, then you may get stuck in it as well. Okay, so that's the context. So integrate spiritual and material knowledge while living in the world, and the result will be, ideally speaking, you get out of the repeated birth and death, you will be out of the prison house and enjoy the full blessings of immortality. Okay, let's read Prabhupada purport. Very nice. 1 to 5. No one can be materially immortal. Anyone can give an example of this from Shastra? No one can be materially immortal. Anyone?
Hiranyakashipu?
Thank you, Mata. You have read the purport. Thank you.
Uh,
What did he want? What did he want, Mataji? Mataji, what did he want?
Immortality.
How did he want that? So he asked Brahma.
Brahma.
So 7 boons he asked, and he
Yes.
said, even if you cannot make me immortal by these 7 boons. But Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, Hiranyaksha, all these big gundas also could not be immortal. So who are we? So let's read this purport underlined. Anyone?
I can do.
Yes.
Everyone has been trying to attain a permanent life, but the laws of nature are so cruel that no one has been able to avoid the hand of death. No one wants to die, nor does anyone want to become old or diseased. The law of nature, however, does not allow anyone immunity from old age, disease, or death. Nor has the advancement of material knowledge solved these problems. Material science can discover the nuclear bomb to accelerate the process of death, but it cannot discover anything that can protect man from the cruel hands of old age, disease, and death.
So nicely, Prabhupada is writing. We're all aspiring to do that, become deathless, old ageless. In Google, I've seen some, what do you call that? anti-aging injections. They have it. They advertise that. You look younger. You look younger. Even if you look younger, you're still the same. People do so many things just to make themselves look younger. But what's the point? You cannot surpass that time. Okay, Hiranyakashipu example, we already discussed that. Now, Hiranyakashipu foolishly thought these guarantees would save him from death. Ultimately, however, although Brahma granted him all these benedictions, he was killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The whole point here is that even Hiranyakashipu, the most powerful of materialistic, could not become deathless by his various plans. Then what can be accomplished by tiny Hiranyakashipus of today? This is really nice, Prabhupada is saying, tiny Hiranyakashipu, whose plans are thwarted from moment to moment. And we are all like that. Okay, next paragraph. How to become immortal? So Prabhupada first gives the problem. This is the problem we are all thinking. Our mentality is like that. So how to really become immortal? So Prabhupada explains this in the next paragraph. Rupam Prabhu, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhu. The process by which one goes back to Godhead is different branch of knowledge, and it has to be learned from revealed Vedic scriptures such as Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam. To become happy in this life and attain a permanent blissful life after leaving this body, one must study the sacred literature and obtain transcendental knowledge. Should I continue?
Yes, Prabhu, just this line here, his home.
This home is not here in this material world.
So
His home.
basically, we think that material world is our main home. Sydney is our main home. Vrindavan is Vrindavan is the home. Materially speaking, we choose many places and say this is our home, but this is not our home. And unless we read this knowledge from a bona fide person, from a bona fide acharya, we will not convert that general feeling which you want to live here to go back to Godhead. So this is the only way to become immortal. I was listening lecture by some Maharaj, I can't remember the name, and he was saying, Mahatma Prabhu, Prabhupada disciple, he was saying, this material world is bad, isn't it? So everyone says, yes, it's bad. And Maharaj said, you don't like it? No, Maharaj, we don't like it. Then you go back to Godhead. That's the only way. That's the only way. You can't do anything else. You can't go yourself. I will go to Switzerland and become happy. I'll go to America, become happy. I'll go to this part of the world and become happy. Do this, I'll become happy. No. All you have to do, go back to Godhead. He said, if you don't like, that's the only way you can become happy is go back to Godhead. So this is not easy, but this is how it is. The process is not to overcome Maya by staying here, by becoming like an immortal Hiranyakashipu. The only way is to go back to Godhead. Prabhu, just a few more lines.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. The miseries of this material world would serve to indirectly remind us of our incompatibility with dead matter.
Just one thing, Prabhu, I would like to add here. I heard a lecture from Keshav Maharaj. He was saying this material world is perfectly imperfect. Perfectly imperfect. And he explained very nicely. He says, everyone knows imperfect. There are hardly any perfections here. I'm not talking about spiritual side here. But he says, why it's called perfectly imperfect? Because it serves the purpose. It serves the purpose. How does it serve the purpose? Because you're getting so much trouble. So Durga Devi is basically saying from the Trishul, it says, because in Trishul, she has three spikes, the trident, three spikes had Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, and Adi Adhyatmik. And with these three strikes, what she is saying, chalo yahan se, get out from here, get out from here, get out from here. And we still have desire. No, Prabhuji, it's okay. Just stay here. Just one more property, one more job, one more project of life. I know I was unsuccessful in the last one. Next one, Prabhu, I guarantee I'll be successful. Prabhu, come on, Prabhu, chalega. It says Hiranyakashipu plan failed, Ravan's plan failed, Hiranyaksha plan failed, Hitler plans failed, but our plan will be successful. Is it ridiculous proposal? Because we think we are bigger than them. We are bigger than Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu mar gaya, हम नहीं मरेंगे. रावण का प्लान फेल हुआ, हमारा नहीं होगा. We will not fail. हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. मन में है विश्वास. Just to translate Rasanand Prabhu, there's a Hindi song, there's a child singing and nicely singing. that one day I will be successful. Believe me, I will be successful one day. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. No one will be successful. Darwin says only the fittest survive. Right? That's what he says. No? Survival of the fittest. But Chaitanya Prabhu says even the fittest don't survive. They also die. Huh? So no one will survive. None of the plants will survive. The only thing will survive is our devotional service to Krishna. If we are doing that successfully, our day is success. It says the profit and the loss of the day is how much you have remembered Krishna today and how much you have forgotten Krishna today. If end of the day you have to make a balance sheet, any accountants here? I'm not sure. So profit, आज कितना कमाया? How much I earned? So today I got say $500. That's not the profit. That's your karma. That's your karma. You got 500 or 50 rupees. That's your karma. How much you remembered Krishna today? How many malas you did? You did devotion service. You served the Vaishnavas. You read some literature, Vedic literature. That is your profit. Everything else is a loss. Everything. Even if you earned $5 million today, sorry to say, Prabhuji, Mataji, it's a loss. It's a loss. If our focus is on 5 million, it's a straight loss from this perspective. This is what it's saying. So the miseries of the material world serve indirectly remind us to incompatibility with dead matter. It says spirit and matter is like oil and water, doesn't match. Doesn't match. And we all have this experience with different people. Sometimes we are incompatible with some people, right? We can understand. So similarly, we're not just incompatible with the people or the things or the situations around us. We are incompatible to this whole situation called material world. Okay, moving forward.
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. Intelligent living entities generally take note of these reminders and engage themselves in the culture of Vidya or transcendental knowledge.
And
Human life,
unintelligent, what do? Keep going, Prabhu.
yeah,
Keep going.
human life is the best opportunity for the culture of spiritual knowledge, and human being who does not take advantage of this opportunity is called a Naradhama, the lowest of human beings.
Namam duskritana mudha prabhadyante naradhamaha. Naradhama. So we should consider this line is not for others. This line is for us. Yajantihi sumedasa. So if you worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you are sumedasa, very intelligent. Otherwise, you are not intelligent at all. You may be very materially intelligent, but that intelligence has no value in the spiritual path. You can spiritualize that intelligence. You see, say Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, like I don't know how much he has in his head, how many things which come out of him was just completely out of the world, completely. So he had the intelligence, which he himself says he got the highest mark in his estate, which no one in the history has got. Not in the past 10 years, no one in the history of Maharaj have received that many marks which Chaitanya Prabhu got. This is before becoming devotees, and he himself is telling. He was a very intelligent person. But what he did, he spiritualized that intelligence. To use that intelligence given by Krishna to preach to the whole world. So he's completely spiritualized that gift given by Krishna. And that is the success of that gift. Okay, para 8 to 10, we'll read it quickly. Someone else can do. I don't like naming people, but if you don't respond, then
Prabhuji, can I do it, please?
Sure, Mataji.
Only the yellow lines?
You can read the heading as well, Mataji.
Yeah.
This gives us the gist.
Yeah. The contents of the textbook summarized. Enjoying material sense enjoyment keeps us in this mortal world. Keep a balance of material and spiritual activities.
Just
The living
a
en-
nutshell, all the sannyasis, no one tells you to leave your family, leave your job, become a sannyasi. They're not expecting that. All they are saying, keep a balance. So a spiritual life, smart people always are able to do a good balance. Now Prabhupada is telling how we can do that. Yes, Mataji.
The living entity has no birth or death. Birth and death apply to the outward covering of the spirit soul, the body. Death is compared to taking off, and birth to the putting on of outward garments.
Just a such understanding here. Prabhupada says, birth and death apply to the outward covering of the spirit soul, the body. So which body is dying? Our material gross body is dying, right? Suppose you become a devata, you still die. So which body is dying? Devata's body don't die. So what happens? Just asking a question. You die, for example, you leave this gross body, and then what happens? You transmigrate to another body.
Subtle body will transmigrate to.
Yes, sir. If you go to Narakloka, for no, not you, miss. Someone goes to Narakloka, what happens? I just want everyone to be very clear in this concept. So if
The
you go to
same body still
Narakloka,
goes. The
huh?
subtle body still goes. with
Subtle
the-
body it still goes. So
to
you are
the
getting beaten on your subtle body,
Yes.
or you're enjoying the subtle body, yes or no?
No, we are getting
In the
beaten.
Devata, I'm just taking two extreme examples from Devata perspective or Narakloka, very simple person.
We just get like a temporary body in Narkaloka and then. Is it Prabhu?
So, but you lost this body, you lost this gross body. In Narakloka, you get temporary, you already have a subtle body.
It is the mind that is suffering when whichever loka we go to.
The mind is suffering or enjoying, yes, more.
Subtle body, soul is covered by subtle body still until soul is gone back or transcends to
Right.
Goloka.
So just to summarize all these points here, which are nice. In the material world, you always have two bodies.
Yes.
Always, whether you are a Devata, whether you're in Narakloka, whether you're in Prithvi Loka, in a Yamaloka, wherever you are, you have two bodies. Now, what happens in the Narakloka, for example, you get a body, subtle body is definitely there. Soul and subtle body, definitely there, no doubt about it. But on top of subtle body, right now, you have this gross body made up of 5 elements. Now, when you go to Narakloka, for example, so what you still get another body, but that body is prone to pain a lot. Right? Sometimes you get burned, and even someone touches that area, it hurts a lot, right? Normal finger will not hurt if someone touches, but if the finger is burnt or cut or something, if someone touches, you feel a lot of pain, right? So it says in Narakloka, you get a body, a gross body, which is subtler than this gross body, but grosser than your subtle body. You understand? So subtler than this gross body, you can touch, feel. Huh? So Preta or Bhuta, for example, they also have another body on top of subtle body, but their body is grosser than their subtle body, but subtler than their gross current body. See, there's a body. So everywhere, Bhuta, Pisach, Preta, Narakloka, demigod planet, whatever it is, you always have two bodies on top of soul. Subtle body obviously never leaves. And on top of that, you get another body, which is more prone to pain or pleasure. So if you go to demigod planet, you get pleasure in that body. So the body is made up of those elements which makes you feel more pleasurable. Huh? But you always have these two bodies. So Prabhupada is saying here, birth and death apply to the outward covering. And then when your subtle body is completely died, rather purified, then you are eligible to go back. Yes, Rupam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, in one of the lectures, I've heard about us having 5 different kinds of bodies, so 5 layers of bodies on top of the soul.
Okay.
And when we die, I'm not recollecting the exact terminology, but it's like sort of a subtle body that goes along with us. Prabhu, can you explain that part?
Okay, I don't remember the 5, but there are prana vayu as well. So there are coverings, there are technical terms to it. But in principle, I'm talking a principle here. And there can be different angles of looking at the same thing. In principle, you always get two bodies in the material world, always get two bodies. And this one body on top of another. So this is what it needs to purify. And unless you purify it, you keep getting the gross bodies. So subtle body is the source, you can say. And based on the purity or impurity, you get the deserving body. You get the deserving body, maybe higher or lower. So pranavayu is also considered going. So there are many technicalities there, Prabhu. And you can say there are multiple layers, which is true. And one by one, the soul gets out. Okay, Sakhi Radhika Mataji.
Prabhuji, once I've heard that, like we see also in the Bhagavatam, we read about when one goes to Golok Vrindavan. So the Vishnu Dutas come, and the one who are karmis, for them, Yam Dutas come.
Mm-hmm.
So once this happened that there was this very senior devotee, and he just, because he was very senior, I could not question, but he told me that you guys don't worry, at least Yamraj won't come. So ever since then, I'm agreeing in between, not qualified that the that the Vishnu Dutas are going to come. So what will happen to people, practicing devotees
Okay.
like us, that Vishnu Dutas won't come
Yes.
because we are
Yes,
not
yes,
so pure. But at the
yes.
same time, somebody is telling Yamudutas will also not
So
come,
who
but
will
you will
come?
take birth again and take.
किसी को तो आना पड़ेगा.
Then who will come to take? So
Okay.
what is the in between
In
people like
between
us?
path.
Where
Thank
do
you,
we
Mata.
like?
Very nice practical question. Shastra explains as soon a soul becomes unmukh towards Krishna, it starts looking towards Krishna. He is not like completely interested in Krishna. And you can say all of us in that sense. We have started the journey. The journey is very, very long. And that's why Prabhupada called us aspiring devotees. Once Siddhartha Maharaj wrote a poem, very nice poem. He showed it to Prabhupada. And I don't remember the poem, but the poem was ending again, a devotee wants to see you, to the Lord, basically saying. And so he will write 2-3 lines, and devotee want to see you. So Prabhupada took a pen and strike through all those devotee word, and it says aspiring devotee. Devotee is a big word. Prabhupada said devotee is a big word. Huh? So we are all aspiring. That's what Prabhupada said. So we can say we are all aspiring devotees in that sense. Now, Mataji's question, very valid question. We are not devotees. We are not karmis. Sometimes we keep changing our situation, but generally speaking, we can categorize ourselves as aspiring devotee. We are a student in this devotional university. We haven't crossed this university as yet. What will happen to us? So Shastra says as soon as a soul turns towards Krishna, has not reached to Krishna, turns towards Krishna, Krishna takes charge of that soul. So now, as per this statement, your accounts are not getting taken care by Chitragupta, the assistant of Yamraj. Actually, your accounts is being personally managed. When I say accounts, not your financial accounts, your karmic accounts by Krishna. So Krishna takes charge of that soul. Now, what Krishna does to this soul varies from soul to soul. Some souls, he will take personal charge. That means he will personally interfere in their life. And when he personally interferes in their life, I remember Prema Bhakti Mataji shared one day, very nice thing with me, a very good reminder. She said in the class she heard in the temple that when Krishna loves someone, likes someone, he gives them a lot of material things. But when he loves someone, he takes many, many things away. So when Krishna starts loving that person, he starts taking the things away which are an obstruction in the devotional life of that person. Example, Prabhupada. Prabhupada was a very opulent person, materially speaking as well, right? But slowly Krishna took everything away. So in many cases, Krishna personally takes charge. In some cases, Krishna allows that soul to be under charge of Maya Devi, but under the instruction of Krishna, like a sub-assistant. You say, these kids are only, year 1 student. I will not teach them. Maya Devi, you look after them, but, take care of them nicely. Take care of them nicely. So it's still under charge of Krishna. Krishna allows them to suffer their karma in their life and the next lives as well. But it's still under charge of Krishna. But some souls, he personally start interfering in that life. And those souls are very rare, very fortunate. But both under the jurisdiction of Krishna, no Maya Devi or Yamraj has full access on you because you are Krishna's devotee. Is that okay? Now, who will come to take you? The answer is Krishna will make those arrangements. Like basically, he will make arrangements if we haven't finished the bhakti, which womb we will go next, where we will continue our journey based on our deservance.
Okay.
But you will not go to Yamloka and getting beaten by Yamduta. So it's a big benefit. Prabhupada said, as soon as you start your journey, you will not go to Narakloka. But again, in the material world, say in the earthly planets, you may get a big disease or something just because of karmic reactions, and Krishna wants you to suffer so that you can realize fast and become a sincere devotee faster in some cases.
So Prabhu, when we talk about this one, I've not sure, but I've heard it or I've read it But the Pandavas, it says that when they started going, they
Huh?
went to the Narak Loka. So how can we relate ourselves
Okay.
to those
Okay.
personalities?
Yeah. So the explanation given in Mahabharata itself towards the conclusion. So they had just a slight experience of Narakloka, seeing it, not suffering it. That's first point. Huh? And there are details of that as well. Anyway, that's just a seeing, not suffering. That's the first point. And it's Mahabharata also, they went back to Sargloka. Mahabharata explains that. And many people read that. So Mahabharata is not a Bhakti Shastra in itself. There are Bhakti contents in it. It's not a complete Bhakti Shastra. It's a Karma Kandi thing, basically. And the third thing is, Pandavas went back to Godhead via heaven. They did not go to heaven. Like you're going to India, you go India via Singapore. So can I say you went to Singapore? No. You went to India. You went to Delhi, for example. But you stayed over in Singapore just to meet Devakinandan Prabhu, just to eat some nice temple prasadam there, maybe for a day or two, right? Or going for a ride. Some people
Just
stay
like
there.
Gopkumaras, like
Kumaras, for
yes,
example,
same
right? So we
that
just
makes sense.
didn't know about it. So these arrangements Krishna will make based on our discernments. Is it okay?
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Let's move forward.
Beauty of the illusory energy, they undergo the same miseries repeatedly and do not learn any lessons from the laws of nature.
Just on that, Yayati Maharaj explains in Srimad Bhagavatam, 4 types of people are there. First type of people who hear and they learn from hearing. This is a first class listener. Second class people, they hear but they don't learn, they want to experience. No, they see someone. They see someone. Thank you, Rupam Prabhu. They see someone. This thief stole something. Police is beating him. I should not steal. Third class of people, they hear, they see, they do not learn. They want to experience. देखें पुलिस की मार कैसी होती है. In our case, Maya Devi. So we go steal or do something bad, and then we get beaten by Maya Devi. We say, oh, no, 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 no. And they learn. And the 4 type of people are, they hear, they see, they experience,
And they still
and they,
don't.
they still don't learn. And who are they? Any examples? Any live examples, you know? All of us, at least me. I am there. Amrendra Prabhu says, if you are here, that means you have been here many, many times. Huh? So I'm not sure about all of you. Maybe you are personally sent by Krishna for the liberation of many, many souls. I am definitely not a citizen, you can say a permanent resident of this material world for a long time. I've been here, still not learning from the mistakes. Reading, teaching, sharing, hearing, still no learning is going on. The heart is still feels same what it was 20 years ago. It's still the same. So this is called what Prabhupada is writing. They do not learn any lessons from the laws of nature. So many of us, if not all of us, are in that 4th category as per Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada said, we should become first-class learner. Making mistake is not a problem. Everyone makes mistake. But if you make mistake, you learn from them. And if you don't, you're still in mode of ignorance. Okay, next one.
Sense enjoyment in the diseased material condition must be restricted as far as possible. Unrestricted sense enjoyment in this bodily condition is the path of ignorance and death.
So we all understand that, right? So even materially speaking, if you overeat, for example, Manmohan Prabhu, if someone overdose the medicine, you tell him to take one pill a day and he eats 5 pills a day. Jaldi theek ho jayenge. No, you will die or you will go to hospital. 5 pills a day, you can't take it. If doctor has recommended 1 pill a day, if your quota is you go to a VSS program, you eat 10 puris or 15 puris. One time Prabhupada went for a program in India and devotees came back and one disciple of Prabhupada, Western body disciple said, Prabhupada, I have so much stomach pain. Prabhupada said, Hoga kyun nahi? You ate 25 puris. And he looked at Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada, how do you know? Prabhupada said, I was counting. So next disciple to him, he started laughing at the other disciple who had 25 puris. Prabhupada said, you don't laugh, you ate 15. So if you eat 25 puris just because the host was very nice, the pain dard will happen, stomach pain will happen. So if you're overdoing, it won't work. Even materially, forget the spiritual part here. Your body has to do some restraint. if you want to be healthy. Now, Prabhupada gives a very nice analogy. Mataji, you can read this one. It's a very perfect analogy.
A person should not increase his fever from 105 degrees to 107 degrees, but should reduce his temperature to the normal 98.6.
So this is a very famous analogy. There's a question as well. At least it was in my assignment. I'm not sure in your assignments. So why Prabhupada is writing this, come back to normal? Because we can't stop the things. We can't stop the material things. Tomorrow, if we think, we can't do it, right? So what we have to do, restrict as much as possible. And instead of increasing the material fever, decrease it and come back to normal. Come back to normal. So Prabhupada gives this example of don't increase. One time, I heard this example, maybe from Radha Govind Maharaj, if I'm not wrong. There was a lady who got sick. So an old lady got sick. So she called the doctor, maybe husband called the doctor, and doctor came back home and he had the lady checked up. So lady's temperature was like 102 or something. She had some fever. So same time, the daughter-in-law of that same house was also very sick. So husband said, can you please check my daughter-in-law as well? So doctor went and checked. Her fever was 105. So doctor came back and he said to this husband and wife, the old couple, said, your daughter-in-law is actually very, very sick. She has 105 fever. So the mother-in-law said, doctor, recheck my fever again. How come my daughter-in-law has more fever and not me? So materially, sometimes we compare with other people. If they are crazy, we say, "Arey, how come hum kaise piche hain?" We have to be higher than them. Arey, you're sick, and you are saying I have to be more sick than other people. So this is our mentality these days. We compare with other people with material possessions many times. He or she look good, they have more money, they have better status, better car, better this, that. You are becoming more crazier actually by those comparisons. So Prabhupada is saying, don't increase that fever, don't increase that material mentality of comparing with others. You will die. Come back to normal. What is basic necessary for your body? What is basic necessary for your mind and soul to keep together? You take that much, you earn that much, and then you live a simple life. And the rest of the time you give it to Krishna. Don't overdo the material things. It's called atyahar. Don't overdo. So that's what Prabhupada is saying. Don't increase the temperature. More money, better position, better look, better house, better car. That is increasing that material temperature. Rather, you come back to normal. Whatever the basics are needed for the body, for my family, and that's enough. Rest of the time, I give it to Krishna. Okay, let's go to the next one. And Prabhupada writes, balanced program of spiritual and material knowledge. And a mature guide can tell you how to do that. Okay, last theme here. Someone else?
Can I read it, Prabhu, or you want someone else to
Maybe
read
someone else can do it.
Yes.
I can do it, Prabhuji.
Sure.
Okay. Incorrect use of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha attain immortality through paradharma. No Krishna personally.
Just on the paradharma, how many types of dharmas? In this context, we can say there are. So aparadharma and paradharma. Aparadharma means lower dharma, the dharma which your body has to do. And we all have to do some duties as a father, as a husband, as a son. We have to do some duties. That's called aparadharma because that belongs to your body. And this is paradharma. So Prabhupada is saying attain immortality through paradharma. When Bhagavad Gita talks about dharma sanstapnarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge, which dharma Krishna is talking there?
Paradharma.
And it is, huh?
Paradharma.
Paradharma, but people interpret that as aparadharma. Krishna has come here to establish the facilities for me. No, not for you. You miss your body or your body sense gratification. And Krishna is saying for that purpose, Sardharmanu Parityaja. So we have to understand when dharma word is used in the same book twice, it has a different meaning. So Krishna comes here to do sanstapana of paradharma, not aparadharma. Aparadharma, everyone is supposed to follow. You're supposed to follow left hand, right? No one has to teach you. No one has to teach you. You do this. You're supposed to do that. But there's something called paradharma, which we have to look forward to. Okay. Yes, Prabhu, please continue.
Religion is actually meant for self-realization, and economic development is required just to maintain the body in a sound, healthy condition.
And what people think, religion is to make money. I'm a mathadish, so all the dakshina comes to me. So I should become Mathadish. You remember the example of Ramayana? The dog says to Lord Ram, what punishment? Lord Ram asks, so dog, Mr. Dog, you're tortured by this particular person. What punishment would you like to give? Make him Mathadish. Because materially, people want to become Mathadish. Make this person a Mathadish. And Lord Ram says, is it a punishment or a reward? It's a punishment because last month I was Mathadish and now I've become a dog. So if any one of us, you have this desire to become the chief of that society, chief of that nation, chief of at least a community, remember this example from Ramayana. It's very dangerous. The more the responsibilities, the more the karma. So the higher you go, the higher knowledge you have to have. You cannot just sit on a higher post, take all the facilities and not do your responsibility. That's why all these leaders, so-called leaders of the society, Prabhupada said, they are going to Narak Loka, freeway. Freeway, he says there is no even toss there. 120 की स्पीड से जा रहे हैं सब कहाँ नीचे ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्वस्था मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजता जघो गुणे वस्तुतः तमो अधो गच्छन्ति तामसः अधो गच्छन्ति अधोगति. Okay, let's continue.
This life is not meant for working like an ass or for culturing avidya for sense gratification.
Yeah, some people work very, very hard. Prabhu, I have got 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 18 hours a day. Okay, for emergency purpose, we may have to do that, but not for constant. We are working 16, 18 hours a day. That's not what life is meant for. Yes.
Directs a human being to utilize his life to inquire into the absolute truth. The central purpose of these 18 principles is the attainment of transcendental devotional service to the personality of Godhead.
Okay, so we understand that. Sorry, this is the last paragraph. Someone else can do just 2 lines.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Unless religion, economic development, and sense gratification aim toward the attainment of devotional service to the Lord, they are all simply different forms of nescience.
It looks a very strong statement, but at the end of the day, from a transcendental perspective, this is what it is. Okay, so we understand a balanced program should be needed. We are not condemning avidya. We are saying our focus should not be on avidya. Whatever experience, necessities of life is there, we deal with them. Gauranga Prabhu was saying one day in a class, he said in Hindi, I'll say in Hindi first. He said all these material needs should be a aupcharikta. Aupcharikta, you understand? Formality. There are certain formalities needed in our life. We go to certain office meeting. We may wear suit and tie and coat and all that. We may go to this hotel sometime just to attend a Christmas party and take a glass of water or juice, right? There's some formalities, minimum formalities which you have to do. So minimum things needed to run this material life should be done. Everything else should be profit or gain. Profit or loss. आज का धंधा कितना किया? What is the real profit? What is the Krishna conscious profit today or loss today? 10th of April 2024. Did we really gain today anything? Or another day of life just passed through? Okay, let's go to the next section here. I'll just read this MIHE guide again, which is very nice. So we are reading mantras 9 to 14. So first 3 mantras, 9 to 11, we read about Vidya and Avidya. Now next 3 mantras, we'll read almost similar mantras, and I'll compare them as well, but they're talking about in terms of worship, and the 2 words they are using, Sambhuti and Asambhuti. So instead of Vidya and Avidya, they're using Sambhuti and Asambhuti. Now what it means, we'll read. So let's go to mantra 12. Anyone, can you present Atma Prabhu? Would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Andam tama pravishanti.
Andham tamaha pravishanti.
Ye asambhutim upasate.
Ye asambhutim upasate.
Tato bhuya ivate tamo.
Tato bhuya ivate tamo.
Yau sambhutyam rataha.
Yau sambhutyam rataha.
Translation. Those who are engaged in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of the impersonal absolute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Now, let's compare the Sanskrit first. I'll come back to mantra in a second. So andha andham tama pravishanti. Verse 9. Andham tama pravishanti. Ye asambhutim upasate. Ye avidyam upasate. There's only one word that's different, right? Tato bhuya evte tamo. Tato bhuya evte tamo. Exactly same line. So first and third line exactly same. In the second line, avidyam, it says, here it says asambhuti. Ya u sambhutyam rataha. Ya tu vidyayam rataha. Do you get it? Huh? So same, similar words are used, just two words are different, sambhuti and asambhuti. Now, what does sambhuti and asambhuti mean? So sambhuti is something which is independent, and asambhuti, which is something dependent. So asambhuti says take to darkness, and sambhuti, which you can consider from like Vidya perspective, with Vedvadartha perspective, will take you to further darkness. Let's read the verse. So once, sorry, my screen moved. Those who are engaged in the worship of demigods, so once who is worshipping the asambhuti, which is dependent existence. Like demigods are not independent, right? But Krishna is independent. Demigods are also dependent on Krishna. So if you are worshipping asambhuti, in this context, Prabhupada is writing asambhuti as demigod worshipper, you will enter into the darkest region of ignorance. I will just expand that. It looks very hard statement, and is still more so do the worshipper of impersonal absolute. So you are so-called sambhuti, worshipper of that divine absolute, but which aspect of absolute you are worshipping? Impersonal absolute aspect. What does Vidya said in verse 9? Anyone remembers? What does Vidya say as per Prabhupada?
Which takes it towards the Krishna?
No, Vidya in verse 9.
Vedarata.
Vedvadata. Thank you. So they are so-called, Vedvadata people. They say, I am the knower of Vedas, but they don't know. So similarly, I can call myself as the worshipper of absolute, but if I am an impersonal worshipper, what will happen? I will actually go further down than the demigod worshipper. Why is that? Anyone can give some ideas from their earlier learnings? So demigod worshipper will go in the darkest region of ignorance. But if you're a worshipper of impersonal God, then you'll go in the further down regions. Why is that? So if I'm a demigod worshipper, now we have to understand this statement from two perspectives. One perspective is we are looking from a transcendental perspective. From a transcendental perspective, someone wasting their time in going to Swargloka, is that a very nice thing? Some kid says, let me go and check out Swargloka. Let me go and check out Disneyland in America, somewhere. I don't know where it is. Huh? Disneyland jana hai. So nothing wrong in going to Disneyland, but it's waste of time, right? So what we can suggest to these people who should be pursuing their transcendental projects, they're wasting time by worshipping Indra, Chandra, Vayu, Agni, going to Swargloka, coming back. In 9th chapter, there's a verse which says, Shine Punye Mrityu Lokam Vishanti, if you still remember from 9th chapter. Shine Punya, when your Punya is finished, what happens? You come back to material realms. Huh? You go back. Suppose a simple example, you go to a holiday resort, you live there for 5 days, you book a hotel room, you pay $300 a day or something. And 6th day, you think, actually, it's very nice. I should stay here more. So what they will say, pay me the money, isn't it? And you say, but Prabhu, paisa to nahi hai, paisa khatam ho gaya. What do you think this manager of holiday resort will tell you? Nahi Prabhu ji, ruk jaiye, 4 din aur ruk jaiye. Will he say like that? If you say, I have no money, what will the holiday resort manager will tell you? Yes, Prabhu.
He will ask us to go out.
Get out. Paisa nahi hai to hotel mein nahi rukne ko milega. Huh? If you have money, give us the money. So what Swargloka people will do to you? Punya finish. What do you do? Get out. Get out. No place. But Prabhu, you are so nice. Yes, Prabhu, I'm only nice when the money is there. Huh? What they say in Hindi? बाप बड़ा ना भैया, सबसे बड़ा डॉलर. Rupaya nahi, rupaya is cheap. Dollar. American dollar will be better. Huh? So like that. Paisa chahiye. So similar to stay in Swargloka, you need Punya. Now, okay, you go back to Prithvi Loka, earn the Punya and come back again. No problem. Then what happens after that time? After 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, go back again. How long you will do this again and again? So from that perspective, it's saying. Now, from a material perspective, a person who has no feeling to worship any higher being, atheist, for example, or completely materialistic, is it better to worship demigods or no? From that materialism platform? Yes. If you remember, 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 4th verse says, whoever worships demigod, he is in Sattva Guna. So when you read this sort of statement, you have to understand which context we are talking about. From a transcendental perspective, Isopanishad is saying, if you worship demigods, it's waste of time. But from a materialism perspective, if you worship demigod, actually it's in sattva. A person who always fails in his exam, he gets 40% marks, he passes the exam. What parents will say? Very good. Very good, boy. You have done excellent. But another boy from the same parent who used to get 90% marks, he gets 70% marks. The parent will say, Arey, kya chal raha hai? What's happening? You're going down. And then you say, oh, Bhaiya got 40% and you're praising Bhaiya. I got 70% and you're chastising me. Is parent right or wrong? Who can say? Parents is biased. छोटे वाले को ज़्यादा चाहते हैं, बड़े वाले को ज़्यादा. Is it like that? No. A person who's supposed to get 90 or around 90%, if he is going down, parent has to chastise. But a person who's doing nothing and he passed the exam, he'll say, thank you, Krishna. At least my boy passed the exam. High school ka certificate to mil jayega. Something like that. So Krishna is talking from different perspectives. So don't take any statement as an absolute statement, because statements are always relative. Everything in this material world is relative. If someone says, I'm happy, it's a relative happiness. Even Tata, Bella, someone was saying, I can't remember the name, a very big billionaire of India. Ambani? Yeah, Ambani. He has 144 billion worth of assets. And he spent, if I'm not wrong, 15 to 20 million dollar on a wedding or pre-wedding, I don't even know, of his son or daughter. I can't remember. I heard somewhere. 15 to 20 million dollar on one night. But his worth is 144 billion. And I was thinking about it. That's all right then. It's not even 0.01%. So he can afford, like even normal person, when he'll do his daughter's or son's marriage, he will spend a lot of money. So from that perspective, not. But from a zero perspective, if you look, 15 to 20 million dollar in one night, that's a lot of money. He could have done so many other, sorry, $150 million, if I'm not wrong. I heard in some lecture somewhere. Anyway, my stats may be wrong, but from a zero perspective, if you look, it looks, wow, so much money he has spent. But from a net worth perspective, it looks very small. So you have to look from which perspective we are talking about. So he's the owner, he can spend that much money. So, so these statements should be taken from that perspective, then you will understand it clearly. Otherwise, someone may say, okay, how come you're making this statement? Okay, let's read the purport. Para 1, 2, 3. Whoever hasn't done it.
Shall I read, bro?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay. Mantra 12. Worshippers of demigod and impersonal absolute enters into darkness. Para 1 to 3. Problem with impersonal conception. You cannot know the absolute truth. The Sanskrit word Asambudhi refers to those who have no independent existence. Sambudhi is the absolute personality of Godhead who is absolutely independent of everything.
Which word is used by Bhagavatam to describe the Sambhuti or Krishna? 1.1.1 Swarat. Swarat means completely independent from all the perspectives. So we may be independent from some perspective for some time. Krishna is independent in every time, place, and circumstances. We can't claim that. We can't claim that. So this is called Sambhuti, Swarat. He is fully independent. He has no dependence on anything or anyone in any time, place, and circumstances. But everyone else comes under this category because we have no independent existence. We may be a very powerful position in Indra or Chandra, Surya, but still we are dependent. And the verse from Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada quotes, beautiful verse.
Na me viddu suragana prabhavam na mahashraya aham adirhe devanam Maharshinam sa sarvashaha.
So name vidu surgana. So suras means demigods don't know me. My prabhav, my effect, my impact, they don't know. Even Maharishis don't know me. Okay. Then
Definition of absolute is negation is not complete.
so because people don't know, so what they say, oh hey nahi. Or if that is there, it's called you can't ascribe him, you can't define him. So it must be a light. So Prabhupada is saying definition of absolute by negation, neti in Sanskrit they call it, is not complete. Yep.
One imagines that the absolute must be formless and without qualities.
And they consider
the Brahman effulgence to be the absolute truth.
yeah, so that's their conception, which is a misconception, but that's their conception. Anyone can defeat this conception from Bhagavad Gita, a famous verse. You have all read it. You told in your Bhakti Shastri exam. 1426, anyone remembers that? Brahmano hi pratisthaham. I am the foundation of Brahman. Krishna clearly saying, clearly using that word. I am the foundation of that Brahman, of that light, of that effulgence. That effulgence light comes from me. Brahmano hi pratisthaham. So people have misinterpretation because of lack of knowledge. Okay, next paragraph. Someone else. Manmohan Prabhu, would you like to read? He's sitting in Jagannath Puri or Jaipur. Okay, chalega. Both.
But yeah, that's the background of Jagannath. Para 4 to 6. Thank you. Para 4 to 6. Problem with demigod worship. Results obtained are temporary. Only unintelligent, bewildered persons driven by a strong desire for sense gratification worship the demigods for the temporary relief of temporary problems.
You remember in the 7th chapter, Krishna has a series of verses. Antavantu tu phalam tesham tad bhavati alpamedasam. So Krishna is saying those people are alpamedasa. Alpamedasa means less intelligent. And in the 9th chapter, Krishna says to Mayavadis what? Abuddhaya. Avajananti mam moda. Manante mam abuddhaya. So Mayavadis are called abuddhaya, and demigod worshipper as per Krishna is called Alpa Buddhaya, less intelligence. Which is better? Abuddhaya or Alpa Buddhaya? Alpa Buddhi. At least something is there, right? So Krishna is sort of outrageously saying, don't go towards that path. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said, Mayavadi bhasha shunbe hoile sarvanash. And I think Jiva Goswami gives this nice example. I would like to live with lions and jackals rather than living with a Mayavadi. Why? Because jackals and lions will eat my one body and my body will be finished. But next body I'll take birth and I'll start my devotion service from there. But if I live with Mayavad, what will happen? My consciousness may get contaminated. And then for life after life after life, I will be thinking that I'm God. I heard in a lecture, Keshav Maharaj was telling, he was on book distribution one day and he saw a guy wearing a t-shirt. He's saying, I was an atheist. At the front, he said, I was an atheist, right? So Maharaj was curiously looking. That time he was a brahmachari. And the guy passed through. And in the back of the t-shirt, there was another slogan. It says, till I realized I was God myself. So I was an atheist. Now I've become theist actually. But what sort of theist? Till I realize I am God. And that's, yeah, fantastic. So yes, I'm a theist that I am God. So I was an atheist till I realized I was God myself. So someone told me actually, I'm God actually. Oh, really? No, I'm a theist. I've changed my party from atheist to theist. What are we doing? Okay, let's move forward.
We should not seek temporary relief of our difficulties by worshipping the dependent demigods, who can bestow only temporary benefit. Rather, we must worship the absolute personality of Godhead Krishna, who is all attractive and who can bestow upon us complete freedom from material bondage by taking us back home, back to Godhead.
Yep, so we all understand that. Yes, this one, Prabhuji.
Worshippers of demigods can go to the planets of the demigods.
Anyone remembers this? Oh, okay, actually this is 925. Anyone remembers 925? Yanti Devata Devan Pitta Yanti Pitta Pitta. So if you worship demigods, you go to their abodes. You worship Bhutas, you go to their abodes. You worship Pittaras, you go to their abodes. So worship of the demigods can go to their planets. Yes, Prabhuji.
This is not really a new attempt. One can reach the moon planet, the sun planet, and even Brahmaloka, the topmost planet in the universe. However, all planets in the material universe are temporary residences. The only permanent planets are the Vaikuntha Lokas.
And the Praman in Bhagavad Gita is Abrahmanath Loka Punar Avartana Arjun. From the topmost planet of Brahmaji to the lowest planet, this cycle of birth and death, you can't get out of it. Yes, Prabhuji.
One who worships the demigods and attains to their material planets still remains in the darkest region of the universe.
Again, we are
Outside,
talking from a transcendental perspective. So we are not condemning them outright from a material platform. From transcendental perspective, we are saying, don't waste your time. Yes, Prabhu.
outside the universe is the vast and unlimited Brahma Jyoti expansion, which is filled with Vaikuntha Lokas. The biggest and highest planet in the Brahma Jyoti is Krishna Loka or Goloka Vrindavan, where the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna himself resides. Lord Sri Krishna never leaves Krishna Loka. He is omnipresent throughout the complete material and spiritual cosmic manifestations.
So Prabhupada is just explaining again that lack of knowledge because we don't know sometimes saying outside these universes, all the Vaikuntha planets exist where the life is really deathless. Okay, last paragraph. Sorry, last topic. Anyone else can read? Come on, we have 2 minutes. Yes, Prabhu, would you like to read? Another Jagannath Puri.
Sure, bro.
Hare Krishna.
Pseudo-religionists, modern Mayavadis are the worst offenders and most dangerous devotional service is the only solution. The problem of the life cannot be solved simply by going to the moon planet or to some other planet above or below it.
So we understand the point Prabhupada is making. So men are going to go higher and higher. It can be in higher in country, so-called country, or higher in planet. I want to go to moon. I want to go to Jupiter or sun and this and that. But the problem, Prabhupada's time, someone told me, Prabhupada, someone is selling land on moon. So you can do your honeymoon on the moon. Prabhupada said, what's the benefit? Huh? What's the benefit? You go to the moon or you go to, to see Titanic. I heard in a news somewhere, 5 or 10 people, they had this ship or a submarine, I should rather say. They went to see this old Titanic, which is drowned, and they all died. This submarine imploded, not imploded because of the pressure, that the body was not so secure. And I heard that in the commentary, in documentary, each ticket was 2 crore rupees. 2 crore rupees just to go down and see that old Titanic and come back, and they gave up their life. So billionaires of the world were sitting in that submarine to go and see that. They thought, I'll be happy by seeing this journey. They lost their life. So problems of life, whether in moon or down, it's always same. Yes.
The atheist directly denies the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the impersonalists support the atheists by stressing the impersonal aspect of the Supreme Lord.
And why do they do that? So that people still consider them as a theistic person, because they know theistic person has a better reputation in the society, but they don't want to accept that God is a personality. I heard in a lecture, Radha Govind Maharaj was saying, all these Arya Samajis, Maharaj said that. Arya Samajis, and Maharaj said, do you know why they don't worship Krishna's personal form? Because they are lazy. They don't want to feed Krishna. They don't want to bathe Krishna. They don't want to dress Krishna. Because if they consider the personal aspect, they have to feed Krishna. They have to do arti of Krishna. They have to do something for the deity. They say, oh, sab nirakar hai. It's a shortcut. And Maharaj said, they are lazy people. Huh? So we are so fortunate. We spend some time with the deities, some time in doing some devotional service. Okay.
Impersonalists generally pose themselves as incarnations of God to foolish person who have no knowledge of Vedic wisdom.
We'll just read this yellow bits, Prabhuji.
Yep. Since the entire material universe is impermanent, whatever is achieved within the darkness of material existence is also impermanent. The Lord states that as soon as one reaches Him by devotional service, which is one of the only way to approach the personality of Godhead, one attains complete freedom from the bondage of birth and death, golden shackles of material bondage.
So we understand this golden shackle, no matter you become a demigod or one of the highest devatas, the problems of the material world still remains. And Prabhupada gave the example of A class jail, B class jail, or a C class jail. You are still in jail. Yes, and the last solution of the problem, Prabhupada writes.
One must worship the Acharya, and Krishna's statement in Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Evam Parampara Praptam. This supreme science, this supreme science of God is received through the disciplic succession.
That's what Prabhupada is saying, the solution of the problem. And finally,
the rogues are the most dangerous elements in human society, shall be thrown into the darkest region of hell.
16:19:20. This is a reference from Bhagavad Gita. I've got it here. So Krishna is saying that. So don't think that Prabhupada is writing. Asurim yonim apannam mood janmani mam aprapya konte yato yanti adhamam gatim. And I think you had assignment questions as well on this mam aprapya konte. What does it mean? So Krishna himself is saying they will not achieve me. Rather, they will get this asurim yonim apanna again and again and again. Okay, so let's stop here. So we just started the first verse of the second section, which is talking about Sambhuti and Asambhuti. Sambhuti here refers to the impersonal worshipper, and Sambhuti refers to impersonal worshipper, and Asambhuti refers to demigod worshipper, and both going darker, but impersonal worshippers are the worst as per this verse. Now we'll read again mantra 13 and 14 from the perspective of 10 and 11. So we integrate all four together. Okay, let's stop here. We are 3 minutes over. Sundar Gopal Prabhu, any announcements?
Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. So next Wednesday, we don't have a class because of Ramnami festival, and we'll have a class on Thursday by His Holiness Bhanu Maharaj. So
and the topic, I propose something we don't know yet. Might be NOD overview by Bhanu Maharaj. He may choose something else. And the class timings will be same, and we'll publish the Zoom ID, the class later. Okay, anyone else have any quick thing? Any important thing? Okay, so one important thing, Ram Navami is coming. We need volunteers for service. So if you are available for service in the temple,